You heard correct. I did come home. I made it in a little after sundown last night. Yes, I know. I didn't tell you that I was leaving, and I didn't say a word when those two Galileans came into the shop here, and they invited us to go and to travel with the Galilean rabbi on his trip to Jerusalem. But you know, after I got to thinking about all the wonderful things we've been hearing in our village about the rabbi, about all of the wonderful things that he's been doing, well, I got to think, oh, is that your bread? Yes, well, could I, after such a long trip, I've really gotten hungry. Could I buy a loaf of your wife's bread? Ah, thank you. But anyway, I know that after those Galileans were in the shop, and I didn't say a word, and I noticed, my friend, that you didn't say anything either, because the Galileans, they almost hate we Samaritans as much as the Judeans. But anyway, after I started thinking about it on the way home, and started thinking about all the things that we've been hearing about the rabbi, about the blind getting their sight, and the deaf getting their hearing, and bread made out of thin air. And I also got to thinking that I've been staying pretty close to home since my dear wife died. And, well, I just thought it would be a good time to take a trip and go and see this rabbi for myself. Well, I joined the caravan just outside of our village. And the first 2 days, I stuck with the Samaritan camp. But on the third day, I got up a little courage, and I decided that I would go and seek out the Nazarene rabbi. It was during lunch break. He was sitting, and he had a group of Galileans around him. But I saw a little spot there at the back. And so I decided to slip in and listen to what he was saying. He said something about the Jericho Road. And at first I thought he was talking about our trip, because that's where we would be going. But no, he was telling a story. And the story went something like this. That there was a man that was traveling on the Jericho Road by himself. Never a good idea. And sure enough, he got mugged. Some thieves accosted him and beat him and took everything of value from him and left him alongside the road. And then the first to come along was a priest going up to Jerusalem for temple duty. And when he saw the man, he was in a hurry. And if the priest had checked on the man and touched the body, he would be unclean and could not do temple duty. So the priest just walked on by. Next came a Levite, also going to Jerusalem for temple duty. And he just walked on by. And then something very unusual happened. The rabbi stopped, and he turned around, and he looked straight at me. Or I thought he was looking at me. I was thought he might tell me to get out of there, to leave. But no, he didn't say a word. I thought I saw a little smile break out of the corner of his mouth. And then he turned back around and said that the next one to come around was a Samaritan. And you should have heard those Galileans gasp. But he said it took a Samaritan to stop and to check on the man and to treat him and even pay for his care. Well, after that, Jehu, I couldn't leave. I had to continue on with the rabbi to see what else that I could learn from him. I followed him all the way to Jerusalem. And then we Samaritans, we were camping in an olive grove outside the city. And then one morning, I was awakened by some excited talking far off in the distance. It was very chilly. It took me a while to get up and to get moving. But when I finally went to see what the commotion was about, they told me that the Galilean rabbi during the night, the Judean authorities had arrested him and sent him through a quick trial and turned him over to the Romans for crucifixion. Pity. You know, he almost had me believing that he was the one. But I guess it was just another false alarm. Jehu, thank you for the bread. This will last me a few days. Tell your lovely wife I'll be back in 3 days to get another loaf. And I'll see you then. Oh, excuse me, sir. I didn't see you sitting there in the dark corner. I hope I didn't bore you with my Jehu, did you see that? He was there a minute and then he just vanished in thin air. Did we see a ghost? Yes, I see that bread there on that bench. He was eating that bread? No, you're right. A ghost can't eat bread. Yes, I saw his hands. It was him. Jacob, it was him. Those stories that I heard on the road back, they were true. Jehu, that was no ordinary rabbi. It was, no, Jesus is the Messiah.
Yes, he is. And